Good morning, beautiful family in the light. Let me see if this is working. Good morning, beautiful family in the light, of the light, from the light. So much love to all of you. Wishing you well, wishing you a blessed Tuesday. I wanted to just turn on the camera as the last 2 nights has been a very difficult journey, personal journey that I've had to face, encounter, move through that involve my children and the notion that our children are part of our ascension and the liberation, and they really place us in certain situations and encounters so that we can find the courage and strength to face certain things, that which they have to rise up in themselves and in return give you the ability to face and rise within yourself. So it's been a lot of tears, and it's been also a range of emotions and facing details of the emotions and the trigger that had transpired, all of it, which took to an explosion. And this explosion had to also be faced with dignity and honor and truthfulness, and to really, for me to see what was playing out before me and take personal responsibility in the way in which I handled it, which was from trigger, and seeing the layers within it that I still have to heal, that I have not mastered, that is deep wound. And it is the masculine template in which I am rewiring within myself, and the feminine template that I am also rewiring within myself, and to bring the sacred masculine and sacred feminine in its unity of the crystal's light within myself. So it's been a very it was a very difficult couple of days, didn't sleep, couple of nights. And so I just got back from, I was up quite a bit with my sons last night, and I was not happy the way things were going, and this morning I called in all my angels, my ancestors, their grandfathers, their grandmothers. I called them, everyone in, and I said, I need help. And I need help to get through this, because it is this part that is sitting in my heart that I have not yet forgiven. And I wanted to liberate me, to help me forgive. So today I ask for the divine mercy to assist me to go before the altar of mercy and ask for strength. Ask for strength to help me rise up and to show to my children what it's like to be a different example. This has been the contract between my children and I. We face things, we face tumultuous things, and then typically it's me that I have to show up, and I have to find the courage and strength to rise and demonstrate to them, as they are holding me in that space as our soul agreement, so I can be a different mother than my mother was, than her mother was, than her mother was, and dare to face that in which is hurting in me, and that which from that place of hurt that I have acted upon, even rightfully so, completely rightfully so, that I've hit my limit, I've had to stand up, and yet still I created hurt. And that's the personal responsibility, that I do not want to create hurt. No. So it was beautiful to demonstrate that to my children, that I am here to embody a different truth, and asking for their forgiveness, not both of them, my younger one, and having him learn to choose to, when he creates these hurts from the same place of deep pain, to choose differently, because that in which he has also seen is the template of this masculine and this feminine that's wounded, that's just been hurting, this cycle of hurt. This morning I really sat in my altar, and I really asked to receive the help that I need, and to receive the help from the higher. And I cannot express when we come from that place and we just sit, we give it all up, the concerns, the sadness, the frustration, the disappointment, and we meet that place, we meet at the altar of mercy, we ask for the help, how the help is given back to us in such wondrous ways. And this is a place that shatters any ego, because there's no place for ego here. There's no place, because the heart wants to be free from pain. So the last couple of days, there's been this pain that has surfaced, and it has to do with friendships that have been dissolved, and they have served their purpose. Now they've gone to the next phase, and there's been the acceptance over these years, yet the emotional pain of it has not been yet addressed, or has been addressed, but how deep it impacted has not been fully seen, let's say, in its revelation. And we are living inside our revelation right now. We each have the book of our own revelation that is being revealed to us. So we are sitting in our naked truth in such transparency. There's nowhere to hide, nowhere to go, and just to be and face all of it. And it takes mad courage. I told my sons today, when I sat in front of them, I said, it takes so much courage and strength to choose to see that part of you that you don't like about yourself, that you know you have to transmute and transcend, and for you to admit it, and then to also choose to transmute it, and choose to deal with it, and choose to forgive that in which has brought this into your field, so your heart can be lifted again. So I see it also as on a planetary level. Many of us are going through our friendship changes as the ascension journey is helping our vibration rise even deeper, even higher. And And from the mental construct, it's very easy. Okay, sure, makes sense. We've gone apart, no problem. Friendship moves. And the emotional body still not quite dealt with it. And through this pandemic, one of the things that has happened, and there's been a lot of this other energy that has been designed to separate us. It's done a wonderful job. And we each, I feel, have also played that part into it, because we also have gone through the changes of friendships before, and perhaps there's still lingering hurt inside of us somewhere. I'm the first to admit that. And from there, other ones going apart, we're like, okay, no problem. We just very clearly close the door, done, fine, no problem. And there's a buildup of this emotional sadness. And I faced that because it had to do with my children today. And my younger one is usually charged, takes to action, and I met him in that place, and that's not usually the place that I meet. And it was very interesting to see how tumultuous that was last night, and it created hurt in both of us. And so today, after all the play, calling for the assistance and the help, I went to meet with my sons, and I said, this is not what I want. This is not the reality that I want. And I'm here in courage and strength, expressing this is that in which I am willing to shift in me, because I don't want to create hurt in anyone I love. And this is an example for you to see that you also don't want to create hurt. You are sacred masculine. So you cannot come from this old energy masculine template or old feminine energetic template to create hurt. They understand that language. And I said, me too. This situation that was created is for the three of us to change the template of the old energetic masculine, old energetic feminine, and evolve it and be this flame of light that we are, without allowing this space to be pulled into the dark that it did. So it was a very beautiful conversation today. It was received because I spoke deep from my heart, and they both heard me, and I also demonstrated the example as a mother that I'm willing to also give this space, as my younger one needs to give his space to also work on this. So why I'm sharing this is because too often in our ascension journey, especially as parents, we want to obviously protect our children, and we don't share details with them, and to each their own. And I have chosen to be a different parent. Whenever situations come, I share it, and I share all of it, the full range. And I also, through their love and the passion of the love for them, I find courage in myself to take personal responsibility for any part that I played, even though the action came in this situation from my son, and that I just hit my limit, and the trigger was exactly the same behavior that his father would do over and over, and I just hit my limit. And it is important to have these communications openly, and for them to see here is a different way of also, even whatever has happened, choosing to deal with it differently. And this was my choice, my action today, to demonstrate to my children that when we really heartfully surrender and want to apologize, we really come from that heartful place, and it is felt, it is sincere, it is authentic, and there's a personal responsibility to want to change it. And it's interesting because my older son is in this situation with his roommates, so they have to go through this, and for me in this case, all my both sons and I are in this energetic experience of dissolving the template of the old and welcoming the template of the new in balance and harmony. So how we will pull together, I don't know. This morning was more of a success because it was my choice to come forward and take my personal responsibility, and we'll see how the other two come forward as well. Especially my younger one, he says he just needs his space right now, and my other one has to take this into the action of what he's dealing with. So it's a very interesting place. I do feel a lot better, and I'm so grateful to this ginormous team of angels, masters, the sacred flame, the Ascension Flame, Saint Germain. All night I called Saint Germain with its violet flame. I said, help me, there's a deep pain here that I want to transmute in me. And I could feel this deep pain is in the collective, because we can't hear each other, and in protecting ourselves, we just come from that lens. We can't even hear each other. I said, I want this dissolve in me. I am part of the collective. So this is played out with my children right now, and I want to create the change that I need to do. Because as a personal responsibility into the golden age and the ascension flames, I know that I cannot carry any heaviness in here. It won't let me. So it's faced in my own book of Revelation. I saw that in which I have to take personal responsibility and show up greater, and to be a living example for my children, as I continuously have. And that's why they have respect, because even whatever happens, I show up and I communicate it, and I take responsibility, and I apologize, especially if I have created any kind of hurt. So for that, I'm very grateful. And for the journey that we take, especially the importance of our children being our part of finding our own salvation, our own resurrection. I cannot express the gratitude and the respect of how challenging this is, and how we signed up for such soul agreement to go through it together, because I felt yesterday was going apart. I had to pull it in and say no. And we've gone through this several times. The templates are shifting. Even when we are in a higher dimensional bodies, for example, me in my diamond crystalline diamond body, I do face templates that are not updated. And then what happens is I experience that inside of me, and that gives me the opportunity to see where in me still needs to dissolve, transmute, and heal and transcend back into light. And through that, I see it is within the action of my children that are pointing that out. So then I can also, through my liberation, give the power back to them and demonstrate that they too have the capacity in shifting that within them and invite the new templates in. And the new templates is through its illumination of awareness, through that in which has walked through its dark night of the soul, and it has transcended. Has it transcended in me yet? No, because I just came into its awareness this morning and addressing the first step, and now then going through the journey of it. And for that, I'm very grateful. My heart feels very grateful, and this is the time that I'll be taking with, especially in tonight's meditation week 37, the global weekly meditation we have, in diving deeper into it and allowing this collective energy to transmute, because for many years that in which I experience in my personal life directly in front of me is the micro example of the macro that has to dissolve. So then I'll be working in that space and allowing its transmutation and transformation. Because once we recognize that in which is happening right here was happening in me, and that was happening in me, that in which has surfaced from the trigger was a deeper layer of pain that I knew. It wasn't that I wasn't aware, but I had to face its depth. And that's what surfaced the last 2 days, and it's the next level of washing the pain over my heart, because at the end of it, your heart is only here to love. My heart is only here to love, and it has powerful love. And it does not want to act at all from its pain. The pain, when we face it, see it, underneath it is joy. For that, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to my book of revelation, my own soul revelation, through its journey of encounters, especially with my children, and interestingly enough, what they both individually experience in their personal life, and then the three of us experience it together to then dissolve an old matrix and allow it to be. So I happen to have the language around it that I can bring to their awareness. They're both powerful star seeds, and face that in me. And I'm very grateful that Michael was there just as the neutral support that he is, and his wonderfulness. So I can just, in humility, dissolve a program that which has run inside of me, because it's come from protecting me from getting hurt. And it is the wounded child, and it ties to the children of the planet. It ties into the inner child. And for it to be protected is for the divine love to consume all the lesser energy. So a clear boundary does not need to be placed first in the name of protection. Healing that part is very important. This is what really came up between me and my younger son. And it is the energy of what we are in right now, that individuals want to protect themselves, whether it's with the mask or however, just this needing to protect because there's the inner child that does not feel safe. And we are facing the the children of the planet, many of them which the energy has arisen, but they have not been safe. They have been sex trafficked and all kinds of things taken place. So it is part of that revelation in terms of the collective revelation that has also come up. And also the revelation that we have everything that we need. And if you just dare to give ourselves, dare to cry it, dare to show up, dare to come in front of the altar of mercy and just put our hands up and ask for help. Interestingly enough, on Sunday service, spiritual service, the fairy cards that everybody got, my card said, dare to ask for help. Dare to express what you need help with. And a friend of mine pulled me over. She's like, what do you need help with? I said, nothing. And then boom, this showed up. Because it's not another person that can help me. It's me that have to help me. And my breakthrough this morning, after not sleeping last night at all, was for me to show up in all parts of me, my own council meeting, and say, I'm here. I'm here to surrender. Help me dissolve this pain in me so I do not hurt anyone, including myself and those I love. And it takes mad courage to take the personal responsibility, even when someone has done you wrong. This whole thing that took place, it was the action of my son, coming from his arrogance and the wrong he did, and I, out of trigger, I really spoke and I was very angry at him. Even though I was in the right, rightfully so, I still acted from my trigger. And the trigger had to do with way deeper. So I came on to share this raw and real with you because there are areas in our lives that we have truly mastered. And there are areas in our lives that we still have not yet. And it is the compassion for our ascension journey with its ups and downs and all in between, and the humility that comes from the courage that we find to look so deep within and surrender and allow to walk through that shadow and open the door of shadow, meet the shadow, hug the shadow, and release the shadow back into the light through the power of forgiveness. I've done this many times in many areas in my life. And here's another part that surfaced. So you're experiencing its revelation before me, and now the work that I have to do. And I'm very grateful to be supported by such an incredible team that I can call upon and just ask for clarity and guidance and strength and courage for me to stand up and to face my children in this case, with boldness of my truth, so they can see what it's like when somebody's willing to create a change, so that they too can do that inside themselves. So we are creating the new templates by dissolving the old and rising in the illumination through the wisdom that has been surfaced. So I thank you all for joining me today live. I appreciate you so much. I look forward to seeing you live tonight on the YouTube channel Ascension Alchemist at 7:45 p.m. where we fill our bodies with love and release that which is sitting in our field, and then through the silent meditation in the global gathering, we allow this golden light to come in. So I'm going to now go back and sit to be filled and receive the action steps in one by one, washing more of this pain that surfaced, because it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve anyone. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being. Thank you for all of you that have children, that you courageously speak openly with them and you recognize they're part of your ascension as you're part of their ascension. And we're here to dissolve all the old patterning and weaving the new streaming codes by not just saying it, by the embodiment of it. So much love and gratitude and the compassion for that in which she signed up for, that is done on a micro level and a macro level, with all that we are taking part in the global shift for Gaia and humanity in delivering the golden age. And how do we bring the golden age through if our heart, parts in our heart, has this debris of pain sitting in it? We can't. It has to be freed from us, because then we free it in our loved ones. In this case, mine would be by freeing that in me, I'm freeing it in my sons. They free it in themselves, they free it in others. And that's the collective work. So that in which you do courageously for yourself, you're doing it for everyone. And that's the divine truth. Aho, and Lakesh, Bonura Ish, Hash Hash. Thank you so much for being with me today. Much love.